right, it's 7 o'clock. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Joyce.
Board Member Drake. Board Member Nisel.
Here.
Board Member Steen.
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum.
Here.
Supervisor DeSclafani.
Here. Could I get a motion to approve last month's minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Supervisor's financial report. Ulster County sales tax, $39,487.87. Registrar, $200. Ambulance fees, $10,267.05. Town clerk fees, Easy Pass, $63. Town rentals, $3,532.56. Zoning, $475. Building permit fees, $4,861.50. Dog licenses, $52.50. Police fees, $45. STR receivables, $2,028.92. Justice fees, $2,741. Reimbursement to highway, $1,657.66. Higley payment, $104.22. Highway, $339.60. Yankee trip summer camp, $75. Mountain Jam camping permit, $2,500 for a total of $68,430.88. Communications, Joyce.
So our tax warrant is done. If you didn't pay your taxes, the county will be sending you a bill, and they're going to add interest on there. We are now still collecting water bill payments, and they can be made at shandakenpayments.com. So, if you don't want to come in and see Jackie or Angela, I understand. So, that's about it. I mean, we have all these events. The events are on our new website, shandaken.gov, but shandaken.us will still take you there. And under community events, we try to list everything that's coming up in town. There's quite a few cool things. And that's it.
All right, supervisor notes. The news of this month is Phoenicia School. The town board has decided to move away from the purchase of the facility. And after speaking with the county executive's office, it looks like they're going to work on getting affordable housing and moving in that direction, trying to find some connection with that. Also hopefully keeping a community recreation center aspect attached to that. Our resolutions tonight focus mainly on summer rec. There's an amendment to our agreement with Mountain Jam folks, adding one more requirement to their permit, insurance coverage for the town. They're aware of it and they're in agreement. Also, we're purchasing an electric vehicle through state bid using a $50,000 NYSERDA grant, one from the CAC, thanks Beth, with help from Robert. It's a Chevy Blazer. We're waiting on final figures for our EV charging stations from the contractor. The new, estimate is $12,000 for the Glenbrook Park, but it looks like we're going to have to put one, if it doesn't come down, the one that they have for Pine Hill parking lot, which is $41,000. We might have to put that out to another bid, unless they I don't know why they bid it or contracted it with a level 3 charger, where the others are level 2 chargers. So that made it so much more expensive. All the others are around $6,000 to $12,000 each.
How many are there?
Well, there's 4 if we include the Glenbrook Park. There's one for Pine Hill, one for Phoenicia, one for here, and one for Glenbrook Park. So if we can arrange maybe one of them we can do with the NYSERDA grant, and the other 3 we can combine and get the 50% off from and get that paid for by the county. We'll see how we can work it all out to the best advantage. Also tonight, we're entering into another agreement with Mark Project LLC to have Pine Hill Main Street Revitalization Grant application under the state CFA, or Consolidated Funding Application, and the New York Community Revitalization. A couple of the banking resolutions we're doing, because our one bank used to be our main bank, Key Bank in Phoenicia, has closed and moved to Kingston, but we had one account still open there, and we left it in there because it was our grants repository. All the grants would be sent to them, and it was a lot of paperwork to get changed. Well, the charges that they started accumulating in the last 6 months were just astronomical, so we did the paperwork, and we moved that account to Community Bank. Also, Community Bank is closing their branch office, so they're still going to be open, but we need to have another bank that's a little bit closer than wherever their branches are, Downsville or something.
Hudson.
It's Hudson and Delhi are the closest.
So we're going to open an account with the Green County Bank, the Bank of Greene County. There's one in Kingston, there's one in Woodstock, there's also one in Hunter. And as a reminder, Phoenicia folks, our Ulster County engineer, Andrew Emmerich, and the SLR engineers will be at the Parish Hall Thursday, June 12th, from noon till 8, and then on Friday from 3 till 6. Additionally, we were awarded a $14,800 grant to do more flood studies and modeling work and design work around the Bridge Street Bridge. And this just came in. The CAC was awarded $39,000 for an NRI grant. Thank you very much, Beth. And I believe Jan has a little announcement. Thank you.
I'm one of the owners of the Pine Hill Wellington Hotel, and with RUPCO, we applied to Congressman Riley for a community-funded project, and we just learned that he's making a recommendation of $1.5 million for the project. And so that's really exciting. It doesn't mean that we'll get it, because Congress has to approve it. And that's a question mark, but it's quite an honor. He had 70 applications, and we're one of the recommendations he's making.
Kevin's going to read it, just a total.
Heavens. Oh,
The
that's your
National Trust for
resolution
Historic
number 1.
Preservation declared the Wellington one of the 11 most endangered historic places in the United States, which has gotten us a lot of attention. It's sort of a dubious award, but people who care about preservation have really been calling us. We've gotten a lot of media play. Everyone loves the building, very excited about it.
Very good.
Thanks, Jan. Good deal. We're going to break from tradition, and he's not on the agenda, but Bill Fitchner wants to address the town board, and I told him he could sneak it in before we get into committee reports and resolutions. Hi, Bill.
Yeah, I just had a question on the sale of the mobile home park we talked about, if that did need town board approval.
Yeah, use the microphone, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it needs town board approval.
Okay.
Not to sell it, but once it's sold, the new owner will need to have town board approval to keep it as a mobile home park.
Okay, so that would be something he would take care of then?
That would be something he has to take care of.
All right. But there is no license involved anymore.
There's no licenses. I look back, I wasn't looking at that when you brought it up, and when
Right.
Howard's attorney brought it up. I was just looking for the law and what the law was. But no, there's not a.
No
they,
license.
They rescinded the yearly annual license thing.
Right, yeah, we went through that. Okay, I think that's about it then, right?
Where is the property?
Up in Shandaken, up here on the right.
Okay.
Kitchener Terrace Road, up on the hill.
It's what, 12 acres or
It's
20?
actually 18 acres.
18 acres?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not a special use permit, this is a,
Exactly,
Unique
it
permit
was
for-
just a permit that was only given, it started in 71 and it was reintroduced in 77. There were a couple of amendments and actually in 97, they took it out of the code completely. But because it's pre-existing non-conforming, and I talked with Paul about this, it's a carryover that we can either let go, and since it doesn't really impact anything negatively, they've got their speedies permit, they got permitted for the sewer and septic and the water, all that, so.
Yeah, a lot of approvals.
I'm sorry?
A lot of approvals.
A
we
lot of
went through.
approvals, yeah.
Are you just looking to put it on the market, or do you have a prospective buyer?
No, we have a buyer, you know, but we'll see how that goes, so.
And it's permitted for 15 lots, and I think there's 3 that are taken right now.
There's 3 currently right now, right?
And the buyer intends to use it as a trailer park?
Yeah,
That's his intention,
Mhm.
yeah.
but of course that could change with.
so.
And if he does change,
know,
then
it's
it would have
special
to,
use.
that would have to be a whole new thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been there a long time, so, you know, I've about had enough.
Fair enough.
Been doing this for 45 years, so. All
All right.
right, I think that's it then, so I just have them contact you or whatever, and
Yep.
we'll go from there.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Bill. Good
Right.
to see you.
Okay, communications, committee report, I'm sorry. Mike, you want to do ambulance?
Because I gotta add stuff on to it.
Very good.
All right, so May 2025 report, total calls received 22, mutual aid given is 3, 2 to the town of Olive, 1 to the town of Woodstock. We did not receive any mutual aid. We had 13 transports and 9 no transports or standby relocations. In a landmark decision, the EMS stabilization and enhancement plan developed by the Ulster County Department of Emergency Services at the direction of County Executive Jen Metzger was unanimously approved by the legislature on May 20th, marking a critical step in ensuring high-quality EMS delivery for all county residents. The plan includes 2 key funding allocations, $2 million to support existing EMS services that meet performance standards in their jurisdictions, and $2.7 million to contract with ALS anchor agencies utilizing the county's recently approved municipal ambulance operating certificate to strengthen EMS delivery where resources are strained. This $4.7 million investment prioritizes faster response times, better equipped agencies, and a stronger safety net for all Ulster County communities. The funding is earmarked for specific uses by EMS agencies to address equipment, staffing, training, wage disparities, and a number of EMS-specific costs that would otherwise each agency's municipality's burden. I am pleased to announce that Shandaken qualifies for both funding pools, and stay tuned for more exciting news on this front. Also of note, for over 40 years, we have been providing care to the residents of Lexington, accessible only by Broad Street Hollow Road. Both towns are currently in negotiations to solidify this coverage by entering into a formal intermunicipal agreement. It has been an arduous process thus far. However, we are doing our best working with Lexington administration, New York State Department of Health, and the county to assure we cross our T's and dot our I's. It's a truly exciting time for emergency medical services. Stay tuned. I have something to add to Rich's report. On May 22nd, the Ulster County EMS Council held an awards dinner recognizing responders in Ulster County. During this event, Shandaken Ambulance received a unit citation award for a serious motor vehicle accident in January of 2024. We received a plaque from the Ulster County EMS Council and also certificates from Ulster County Executive Jen Metzger, Senator Peter Oberacker, Senator Michelle Hinchy, and Congressman Pat Ryan. I just want to thank all my employees and the town board for backing us so we can do just that.
Job well done, Mike.
Thank you.
Good job.
Before you leave, Mike, first applause. Explain to the board, I mean, you told Kyle and I, but explain to the board how it's going to work with the county changeover, how we're going to be expanding our services a bit, and what that will mean for Shandaken.
Nothing is solidified as of yet. The county still has to figure all the nuances out. And it also depends on our surrounding agencies. We are an ALS anchor agency. We're one of 6 for Ulster County. What that is we have an ALS service already in place, and the paramedics, which is ALS, Advanced Life Support. We will be contracted with the county to go into other territories to help them get paramedic service as well. With that, we will be receiving billing back from doing that job. The funding, that $2 million and $2.7 million is for the BLS and the ALS side. The 2.7 is the ALS side. We're going to get a chunk of that for startup to work into that. And I don't know exactly our territory that we're going to have, but the talks were going down into Olive and out towards Hardenberg and Denning. So it's quite a large area, but our paramedics are up for it, and when more information comes down as I get it trickled to me, I will bring it on to you guys.
I assume there'd be financial kickback from the county.
Yeah, that's what that original 2.7 is, and then it's going to be funded by billing after that. Whether that continues on with the 2.7, I don't know.
Right, and it's,
Rich would be the best one there because he's actually working with the county. He's on that team that is building this as we speak.
right, we'll be getting funds from both those segments for the ALS and the BLS, as I understand it.
Yes. Yep,
So
we
there'll
qualify for
be
both.
extra, there'll be funds for equipment and personnel, hopefully to upgrade our personnel wages and upgrade our,
Yeah, we have to
equipment.
use it for specific things for EMS only, wage, equipment, if stations, if, we have to move stations to better, outfit, stuff like that. That's what the initial startup is mainly designed for.
If we need another ambulance or stuff, fly car or something like that as well, right?
Right.
yeah.
That's what some of that can be used for, yep.
Thanks, Mike.
Anything else?
That's it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Ellie, building and zoning?
Building and zoning report. Okay, for the month of May, our building department issued 22 building permits, 8 certificates of compliance, 5 floodplain permits, 2 certificates of occupancy, 2 stop work orders, 2 demolition permits, 1 event permit. Our fire safety inspector performed 8 visits and 4 inspections.
Thank you. Kevin, police?
I did not receive a report. I don't know if Joyce did. So
Okay.
no news is good news.
Okay.
Is it okay?
There's no crime this month. They took the month off.
It'll be in the minutes online when I get them.
Anything on Phoenicia Water?
Yes.
The committee met in May, and we're taking off June because people would be out of town and we wouldn't have a quorum. The standard operating procedures being worked on, and that was what, Rich from Rural Water has been really helpful. Jameson is using that as sort of in tandem with his own personal training, so we're completing the SOP as well as his training. We're going to be meeting on July 1st at Simpson Park Gazebo at 9:00 a.m. Catherine Haber's collecting reports on quality and water tower inspections. This documentation is needed so that we can make ourselves grant ready. Another component of being grant ready will be to hire an engineering firm to create a plan for required updates and repairs. I've attended interagency informational meetings. That's the Environmental Facilities Corporation, DEC, Department of Health, Department of State and Home and Community Renewal. And there's funding to upgrade rural drinking water facilities, but the engineering plans are generally funded via loans. So we'll have to consider that in a future budgeting. Board Member Drake strategized the thing about the SOP and Jameson as a priority to the lead service line, which was driving Ellie and all sorts of people nuts anyway, because it's very exhaustive. There's 300 lines, and at some point we're going to have to do that. And then we were able to identify RCAP Solutions as a nonprofit we might work with to do that.
Okay, thank you. Anything on Pine Hill Water?
The Pine Hill Water Committee met late last month. We have a list of things that we need to take care of, or they, I should say. One of them being the generator up at the water house. I believe Doug Thornton was contacted, and he had worked on it before. There is a board that needs to be replaced, but it might be cost effective just to get a whole new generator instead of just the board, because it's several $1,000s. So there's also a list of stuff that we have as well, but that was our first meeting, and I believe at the end of this month there's another meeting, so we can get everything a little more finalized after that.
Very good.
And Ethan, yeah, I'll give you the dates. Ethan and Shane were both there, as well as I think 5 other of us, or 4 of us. So it was a good meeting.
Good.
We went up to the water house, looked around, went from source to distribution, and it was pretty good.
All right.
Thank you to the Pine Hill Community Center for letting us hold our meeting there as well.
They're the best.
Joseph, Museum.
The monthly report for the Shandaken Historical Museum for May 2025. On Saturday, May 9th, the museum met to discuss plans for our upcoming metal detecting weekend with the Northeasterners Metal Detecting Club from Stamford, Connecticut on the weekend of August 9th and 10th. We plan to work with local property owners to locate and unearth potentially interesting and historical metal treasures. The Northeasterners have worked with us and helped sponsor the museum for almost a decade. We look forward to literally digging into the history of Shandaken at various cooperating historical sites. The museum is helping to organize the Shandaken Summer Concert Series in Big Indian Park this summer. The concerts will feature great regional bands like The Traps, Wild Blue, Thunder Ridge, Lex Gray and the Urban Pioneers, and the 209s, catering to various styles of blues, rock, Americana, classic country, and blues, and rhythm and blues. This concert series happens at 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoons between July 13th and September 7th. Don't miss these great concerts. The museum is currently looking for volunteers to work with the museum with cataloging or inventory. General web skills or interest in local history is a plus. In May, the museum had 35 visitors, many leaving generous contributions and messages of gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Parks and Rec.
So our next meeting is going to be Monday, June 9th at 5:30 at Glenbrook Park. Hummel has completed the work on the pavilion for the most part. We just have one top of a toilet that they've ordered that they won't be delivering. Let's see. Parks Liaison Board Member Van Blarkum did a final walkthrough of that today with me. And the DEC grant just has a few other things that we're waiting for to close that out. Robert and I were working on the quarterly report today. So to close it out, we need to get a proposal from Kurt, and we need to consider a proposal for fixing a fence and painting it from Hummel. We'll wait until after the committee meeting for that.
That's for the same grant?
The DEC grant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're obligated to expend a certain amount of money. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
And also part of the grant was for signage that
Yeah.
we have not had proposed.
Yep.
We're waiting for notification from Crest. It would be great to hear from them. Prototype memorial bench is being made by a local woodworker, Gary Mead, and the prototype is in memory of Marilyn Manning and will provide a sustainable, locally made option for memorial benches in all parks. We have a new dog park person. Carrie Householder was unable to do the job, so I would like to thank River Hoffman. She is stepping up and will be coming in to sign an affidavit and will be on the job soon. Thank you, River. Carrie Henderson reported that some wonderful volunteers, especially Riser Construction, Matthew Galinas and friends, the half pipe is complete. The survey of Smith Park is also complete so that planning, skate park, and other updates can now be done. So we have both of the parks that are owned by the town are now surveyed. The Rock Cut Committee is now just Shandaken Parks and Rec, and as the town's other parks, it's just one of the parks that we will be taking care of. While not much could be constructed at Rock Cut, board member and park liaison Van Blarcom is imagining an educational space with perhaps flood markers, interpretive signage leading to citizen science projects, invasive plant mitigation, and supportive pollinator plantings, bat boxes, etc. Also, signs discouraging swimming. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Babs. Housing Smart.
Hi. So our next housing committee meeting is June 23rd, which is a Monday night. Let me just double check that. At 6 p.m. here. Our last meeting, we had the CWC came and spoke to our committee, and also several members of CAC came. We were hoping to have a conversation to kind of brainstorm about how we can expand housing density without having too much of an impact on the environment from a waste management standpoint. But as it turns out, CWC, because they're mostly a funding entity, didn't have a lot of ideas in terms of building and technology and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to continue to work on that.
Yeah, they're not really a plan.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping to learn some new, like what the latest technologies were. He had a little bit of that, but we weren't sure how up to date it was.
Right.
So we're going to keep researching that. I know you guys know, but we haven't made a public announcement about this yet. So the Housing Committee, tangential to the Housing Committee, is the new nonprofit that we've started. I say we, it's going to be separate from the Housing Committee, but right now the founding board is only 3 people, 2 of whom are on the Housing Committee. So right now it's kind of one and the same. They're going to start to separate as we start to develop our new board for the nonprofit. But the Housing Committee and the nonprofit will be working very closely together. Obviously, we want to be working very closely with the board and the town. So we'll be talking to you guys outside of this meeting to sort of formalize a partnership once we're, probably in the next month or 2.
Okay.
And what I would like to say is for the next couple of months, we're going to be building out the board and also starting to think about how we're going to raise some money to hire an executive director. So we are looking for people who might want to be on our board. So if anybody knows anybody who might be interested, please put them in touch with me. Okay. And last but not least, in the meantime, we will also be partnering both the Housing Committee and the new nonprofit is called the Catskill Alliance for Housing and Preservation, CAHP, and we will officially be supporting the Pine Hill Main Street project. And I will be, I've agreed to be on a committee that Jan's putting together to community members who are participating in that, so that's it.
At some point, we were talking about doing an inventory with the county. Is that still in progress?
Yeah, we're still, thank you for bringing that up. We're wrapping up the site inventory map.
Okay.
And we got probably a couple more weeks worth of work. I'm hoping by our next meeting, we'll have that wrapped up. And then at some point later this summer, or depending as we get into July and August, I know it's hard to get people to turn out. We might do it in September, but we are going to want to make a presentation to you all, and I think it's meant to be open to the public.
Yeah.
To the community. So, and Kai from the Housing, or Ulster County Planning will be probably the one making that presentation.
Okay.
And he's going to actually, when that happens, he's going to have a couple of properties that he's actually identified that might be viable for building on. So, and then we can start to talk about what
Right.
that means.
But with that, are you guys just doing it, like you were saying, via the front window, you know, your windscreen?
Oh, yeah.
Or is somebody on digital, you know, on the parcel viewer, looking to see who has, which are apartment houses, which are,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, you know?
So the way it works, actually, it's even deeper than that. We got really lucky. This is sort of a type of a grant, I guess. It's not really a grant, a monetary grant, but we were awarded the opportunity to have Ulster County Planning do this for us.
Oh, wow.
So Kai has been working on this. He got an intern specifically for this project that she just wrapped up in the end of May, but she was working from the end of January with him. And what they've done is they've taken this GSI mapping software that they have that we don't have access to.
Right.
And they're able to layer over, so they've evaluated basically every parcel in the town
Wow.
for a number of different factors, slope, floodplain, all sorts of other things like that for buildability. And then they've also looked at things like tax arrears and other kinds of just things like that that we might want to know.
Okay.
And then what he asked us to do was just go around and do a visual, because sometimes we see stuff that they're not picking up in the data,
Right.
the mapping data.
Right.
And then he's synthesizing all of that info. And so what he's doing is he's taking like 7 or 8 different qualifiers and applying all 7 or 8 to each parcel.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, we may end up with, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Right.
That look like they might be viable
Right.
in all of Shandaken. I mean, there's not a lot, obviously.
But is it also taking inventory of where there are, ADUs or people who have accessory properties or,
That I don't know,
that they
because
rent
I don't
out
know how
or-
ADUs get registered.
yeah, they don't really, but I mean, I'm just thinking of what's the inventory of rental properties, you
Well,
know?
you know what would be great, and we'll be working on this more with you guys. You know, we've talked about, I know everybody's been talking about doing a zoning review
Yeah.
after we have the comp plan.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, part of this whole process will also be for us to figure out together how we can ease the path forward to building more ADUs, because that does seem like it's going to be the most viable way to expand housing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
town. And what would be great is if we, you know, maybe we want to just start keeping track when people are building ADUs. I don't know. I can talk to Donna about that. I don't know what the best way to do that is. But you're right. It would be great for us to know in a year how many ADUs we've built.
Right. And also
And
conversely,
add to our
how many
renting
we
stuff.
have already,
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
but it's hard to figure out, but I mean, even just small apartment houses that have, 2 or 3 apartments in them, it's hard to know that too, but.
Well, I
there
think,
are-
you know, we can, I believe Kai's info will have, you know, I mean, C of Os are public record, right?
Yep.
So I think he's going to be able to identify if there's like a 2-family unit on the property. There are
Right.
very few of those
Yep.
in Shandaken.
Yep.
So I think we'll get that, but ADUs might, you know, I don't know like how I don't know how it affects, like, for example, do you have to get your C of O changed when you add an ADU? Like, I don't even know what
I
the,
think you're going to find
You
that
get
a significant portion of residences, properties in Shandaken do not have C of Os. They were built and have not been renovated since before code existed.
Right.
Or if they were renovated since code existed, perhaps it was done not through the proper channels. My house, for example, when I bought it, had been renovated several times. I'm the first person to get a C of O on it, and it was built in 1809.
wow.
So it took well over 200 years to get a C of O on that.
Were you required as a part of the purchase?
Nope. No, I could have left it alone and not gotten a C of O. I
So you
did.
could sell your house now without a C of O?
Well, I have one now.
No, I know,
I have
but could
one now.
someone sell their house without a C of O?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You don't need to get a
Yeah.
C of O until you
You're doing
do
building.
an unspecified amount of renovations. Under a previous building inspector, if he felt you were renovating more than 40% of your home, then he insisted on you getting a C of O. But I don't know what the current policy, if there is one.
So that might be that kind of mystery data
Yeah.
that nobody actually has and,
Yeah.
and might
Yeah.
require a whole other level
Right.
of work.
Well,
And that might be
that's
door to
one
door.
whole other thing for sure, but
Yeah.
how many apartment places there are, just buildings that have like 4 or 3 or 2 apartments,
Yeah.
sometimes 5.
Yeah. And I don't really know how we'll find that out, but it would be
Right.
good to know that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
I mean, the windshield survey was more about like, if you see like you're driving by a property and the roof is clearly collapsed on the
Yeah.
house, make
Yeah.
sure it's on our map as derelict or
Right.
zombie house or whatever,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yep, okay. Thanks very much. CAC, Beth.
Beth Waterman, CAC, Shandaken Conservation Advisory Council. We are having a meeting on Monday, June 16th, here, with food at 6 p.m., and the meeting starts at 6:30 p.m. It's part of our series called Shandaken Prepares, Protect the Life You've Built. The purpose of this meeting is to help residents in the town and businesses know about assistance that's available for them to make preparations for their houses or businesses in the case of a flood. There's Catskill Watershed Corporation provides design and engineering work and some funds for the implementation of these improvements. So we just want to help people learn what's available and how they can take advantage of it. So we did a town-wide mailing. Everybody in town should have received one. If you didn't get it, I have it. And I hope people will come. I think it'll be interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
On the other side is some text that will assist the town to get a more
Bigger discount for,
bigger discount on the community rating system, which is flood insurance.
Yep.
So it's going to improve our percentage.
Yep.
Thank you.
thanks, Beth. No real news on the comp plan.
There actually is.
Oh, you got something? Okay, they're
Yeah,
putting.
so the comprehensive plan steering committee will be meeting next week for the first time in a while. And on the docket, they've also planned 2 more public engagement days. It's one day, Sunday, July 20th. It's gonna be noon to 2 at the Pine Hill Community Center, and then 3:30 to 5:30 at Patina on Main Street, Phoenicia. And then, July 20th.
Noon to 2
Yep.
at the Pine Hill Community Center.
Yep. And then we're moving forward. We don't have a date that it'll be released, but we're moving forward with a second community survey, so keep an eye out for that.
Is that gonna be online?
Assumedly, but
Yeah, we send it through the alert system.
yeah, okay.
Comes in
I'll
handy.
pass it along.
Very good, oh, good. All right, yeah, I was just on the horn with,
She sent an email right before the meeting.
good, okay. All right. I'm gonna do some motions. I'm gonna make a motion to appoint River Hoffman as the dog park manager.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna make a motion to contract with Mark Project Incorporated to be administrators of the Pine Hill Main Street Revitalization Program.
Second.
Pine Hill Main Street project?
Yep.
How's that different from Resolution 81, sorry?
And the resolution has it both in there, but we're gonna separate the resolution to just be getting the grant and putting it to the New York
So there'll be the
Housing, yeah.
administrators. you
Yeah,
said.
but we're hiring, just to hire separately, I'll take that part out, hire separately for $2,500 for Peg to do the application. And she's gonna be administering the whole application. We didn't make it last time, but we have a better chance this time, according to to Peg. And it will be Main Street from Elm down to the lake.
Can I say a few
Oh,
things?
please,
It's from,
clear it up.
It'll be from, on Main Street from Pine Hill Road.
Pine Hill Road.
To Route 28
Yeah.
on the other side. PEG has petitioned the state to allow Mark to have Shandaken as one of its catchment areas or target areas. So they'll be able to partner with the new nonprofit, they'll be able to do more programs here, and as Peter said,
Yeah.
that'll probably improve the likelihood that we'll be more, the housing community renewal will be more receptive to the grant. And the reason to have the resolutions, just the resolution, is that housing community renewal is rather obsessive about how the templates look. And so we're just following the template that'll get submitted into the consolidated funding portal, and
Yep.
it'll just be exactly the way they want it.
Much more clear and concise. Thank you.
That was better.
Jan.
Peg's last name's Ellsworth? What's her last name? Peg's-
Ellsworth.
Ellsworth, I thought.
Make that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion for a public hearing on our EV charger, the location for the Glenbrook Park, to do an EIS, environmental impact statement. We'll do that right before our next meeting, July 7th. We'll do that at 6:30.
All in favor?
I guess I'll second it. It did the last two.
Second.
but
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Still processing?
All right. I'm going to make a motion also to go into executive session after our resolutions. We need to speak about personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
So there.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll do comments, public comments on resolutions. Anybody have any questions or comments on resolutions?
This might be able to wait for the session that you're going to have on the EV charger siting, but I'm just wondering, given that you're making a resolution about the highway garage buyout, why we would consider citing the EV charger here?
The EV charger, again, we're not, that's not finalized that we're going to cite one
Right.
here. I'm keeping it in play at the moment.
Okay.
There could be a bunch of years before, even though we have this resolution to move to another location, that location actually is a little bit tenuous that we'll get it. There's a lot of massaging that needs to be done before, because it's in the state's hands right now, and that property currently has a conservation easement that could be very difficult to unravel, and that's where the holdup is. So we're also looking for other locations. I even asked a realtor in town to look for some locations also. And,
Great, okay.
Labella Engineering looked for some locations, but it's not that it's off the table that we're going to move, but it's not going to happen fast. And the EV chargers are a piece of apparatus that can be disconnected and moved somewhere else. It's not like, it's not like putting in a heating system that you're definitely never going to take it out and move it. I mean, but we could talk about that later. It's not written in stone. Anyway, any other comments or questions about resolutions?
And I'm not sure whether this is in the right place.
I need your name.
My name is Angel Molina.
Angel,
That's
how are
right.
you?
I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm a resident of Pine Hill. I'm also a business owner there, and I'm also a member of the Pine Hill Fire Department. And I want to hopefully you grant me the audience. There's been tremendous concern in the fire department regarding the memorial And there's been talk, and I don't know how true this is, that it got back to West Fire Department, about moving the memorial and then using the memorial for parking for...
Okay, let me address that.
Thank you.
The conversation of moving the memorial and turning the park area into more parking was something that came up about 3 years ago, and when there was a little bit of uproar about it, I just took that off the table. Currently, what we're looking at is doing a water drainage system and using that ground that's underneath the park for the infrastructure. They'll be putting in some, I don't know what it is that they have, but they have pipes and some screens and gravel, and it has to be probably dug up and cleaned out every 10 years. So we want to keep that lawn or put flowers on it, but we don't really want to have trees or too many bushes that are going to impede having to get in there every 10 years and then dig it up, clean it out, and replant it. But we don't plan on moving the memorial. If you know, I thought it would be a great idea to put the memorial in front of the firehouse. It's where you see it in a lot of towns, and there could be a little a shrine there. But if you guys don't want it there and you like it where it is, then that's perfectly fine. There's no reason, I don't think, we don't need to move it. It's perfectly fine there.
I was not expecting to speak on it.
Yeah, and Angel, you know, you guys could have emailed me to say you wanted to have I would have blocked off more time for you, or if you wanted to speak on the subject, but it's
Is this about the memorial?
Yeah.
Do you mind, not to cut you off, but we're just doing comments on resolutions. Do you mind if we move through resolutions, then we can have a larger discussion before we go into executive session? Cool.
Anyway, let's just do the resolution.
Yeah, and then we'll take public comment before the executive session.
Yeah, okay.
Resolution 7025, resolution to pay all bills. Total of $417,838.44, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 7125, resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Shandaken adopting a negative declaration under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and granting public assembly permit, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 7225, purchase an EV vehicle with the NYSERDA Clean Energy Grant, and I move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 7325, participation in the New York City funded flood buyout program for the Town Hall / Highway Garage Complex, SBL numbers 5.18-2-32, 5.18-2-33, 5.18-2-34, and 5.18-2-35, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 7425, resolution in support of a consolidated municipal campus at parcel 4.2-40.
Second.
All in favor?
Move its
Aye.
adoption.
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Resolution 75-25, resolution for purchase replacement highway vehicle, a 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 7625, resolution appointing summer recreation personnel, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we want to name the people?
Sure. Manuel Jean-Pierre as director. Is it Raven?
Rayla. Oh, is Raven gonna be? I wasn't sure.
Is Raven going to do it?
Okay.
Okay. Raven Ryan as assistant director, and Rayla Hart as the recreation specialist.
All
All
in
in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution number 77-25, advertise daily transportation summer rec, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 7825, resolution of authorizing contract for use of the Bel Air Beach for Shandaken Summer Recreation Day Camp, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 79-25, resolution advertising for transportation bids for summer recreation program field trips, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 8025, resolution supporting 4th of July parade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's a short one.
Resolution 81-25, Town of Shandaken approving and endorsing the MARC Project Incorporated in its application to New York State Homes and Community Renewal for funding under the New York Main Street Program, CFA 2025, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 8225, septic inspection services for the Shandaken Septic Maintenance District, SSMD, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 83-25, closing of Key Bank New York account and transfer funds to Community Bank. Open new bank accounts with Bank of Greene County, and move its adoption.
Second, and I want to specify that we're moving $114,318. All in favor?
To where?
From
From?
Key Bank to Community Bank.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're
It's all-
still gonna keep
it's all
Community
in.
Bank for other things? yeah.
For now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for
Okay.
now.
Second by Peter? All in
No, it was
favor?
second by Ellie. Oh, it was
No,
second by me,
actually,
you're right,
second
it's
by
second by me,
All in
I'm sorry.
favor?
All in
Aye.
favor. Resolution 8425, opening new accounts with Bank of Greene County, and move its adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Before we jump to fully open discussion on the subject of bank accounts, at our last meeting, we were closing, we were removing Sharp Committee signers on the town bank
Yeah, I
accounts.
still haven't nailed Rich down yet, but
Okay, I just wanted to check
they're,
that.
they're not signers on the account, but I will double check that.
Okay, good.
I had to sign over to him those checks. He can't just write himself a check.
Okay, so any checks, loans, payments, anything that Sharp issued, you signed?
Right.
Okay. Okay, all right, perhaps that goal is already accomplished then.
Okay. All right, open public comment. Do we want to talk about more of the?
Yeah, well, you had something to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Several of us from Pine Hill have been talking about and redesigning the Memorial Park so that it would not be as large a plot, but would be moved forward closer to the street. We're working on a second design for it. One is completed, and it's actually with the hope of making it work better with the way the park and the parking and the seating currently exists, and unifying it into a better way that would also allow the parking lot to have additional square footage to park more cars. We want to work on two designs, and we'll be bringing them forward very, very soon. So
When you say we, who's we? Is just a group of community members, or are you?
a few, me as well as one or two of the other residents of Pine Hill.
Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you.
We're up for anything.
Not
I
anything,
mean,
but, you know.
not anything that's close.
If we're
we want-
hearing
we
about
want-
anything.
We see an opportunity to be able to speak to everybody's concerns
Yeah.
in such a way as to make it work
Are you-
for all parts.
Are you collaborating with the fire department at all, as they're the ones who maintain
I
it?
want to, we're waiting until we have the second design completed to present it to, I'm full on about wanting to present it to the fire department
Great.
first, even before coming here, to be able to do any modifications they might want to see in it.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good.
My name's Robert Matrier, I'm a resident of Pine Hill, and I don't feel that the memorial should be destroyed.
Nobody's going to destroy the
Or
memorial.
pushed back, why should it turn into a parking lot?
Okay.
People are pushing for it, I'm just putting my voice out there that I don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay. I don't think anybody's pushing for it to go anywhere or to get destroyed. As I said a bit ago, we're going to do, and it's in design phase right now. They did some soil bore tests to check the drainage, and the drainage is really good. So the drainage from the parking lot will go in, but underground. It won't be anything that we can see. There's not going to be water puddling on and pooling on the ground.
Understandable, but as long as the plans come out and it stays the same square footage with the grass there, it is gonna, you guys haven't even seen traffic in Pine Hill yet. I've been there for a long, long time, and traffic, always a parking problem. But everybody got along with it. Now, if they want to develop a building now and they need more parking lot, don't take it out on the Pine Hill parking lot. Take your own property and make your own parking for it.
Well,
That's,
I believe you're confusing multiple issues. And again, as Peter described, there have been people who have blown testing being done by the state of New York DEP to find out how to solve the drainage problem in Pine Hill with, they want to destroy the memorial. As Peter said, nobody wants to destroy the memorial. Currently, no one is looking to move the memorial. No one's looking to take any part of the park away and turn it into parking. We are looking at other lots in Pine Hill for parking. We've been doing research. None of the work that anyone on the board has done is looking to decrease, damage, or otherwise impugn that memorial. That is not on the table currently.
and the talk you're hearing isn't coming from here.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
coming
where-
from rumors that have no basis and they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. People are wanting more parking lot in the parking lot. That's
But
what
not
they
at the
all
expense of the
understand.
memorial. Not at the expense of the memorial.
I'm here stating my point
Yeah.
that that's a piece of history that shouldn't be destroyed.
agreed.
I mean, absolutely, so I hope we all stand in that direction.
I think we're all glad that you did come and speak your mind to clear these rumors up as well, publicly.
Rumors, and after, before you know it, something's happening, and if they're gonna go ahead and do something, we, the public, wanna see the plans.
Of
before-
course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And not a plan that we're gonna change later on either. It's
No,
gonna
I don't think anything's going to be done secretly or anything like that.
We meet here the first Monday of every month, and it'll be broadcast live, as it always is.
All right, thank you for your time. Have a
Sure.
good evening.
Thank you.
Jack?
Yes, Jeff?
One of the advantages of coming to town board meetings is sometimes you learn about all the rumors. So I just wanted to clarify something that I just heard here for the first time. The Wellington project is not taking parking in the parking lot, nor is it involved in whatever Tony and his friends are doing to think creatively with the fire department about, making the memorial more visible and more attractive. But that's really not part of the Wellington, so there is no truth to the fact that the Wellington is pushing for more parking in the parking lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. All right, any other public comment? Angel?
So I want to apologize for opening up a can of worms. I just was saying that the fire department has been the stewards of that property for like well over 40 years, if not more, and more. Right? So they've been taking care of that for that long. And so I think that they sort of have somewhat a sense of ownership for taking care of it, and, you know, they're a little sensitive as to what happens to it, so.
Of course, of course.
But I do also understand that that's also town property, is that correct?
It is.
It is town
It
property,
is
yeah.
town property, so.
And we are very appreciative for all the work that the fire department has put in on the memorial. Don't have
Yeah,
any
no,
qualms
no.
about that.
We understand, I was just, you know, but things said, and part of the reason why I would bring it to your attention was because things get said and, you know,
Right.
they need clarity, so.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Angel.
All right.
I've also heard the rumors. My name is Hank Williams,
Hi, Hank.
Woodland Valley. I've also heard the rumors about the memorial in Pine Hill, and I heard them and also saw them on Facebook. And one of my concerns is that the fire department has been stewards of it for like 40, 50 years. And if the town was going to move it, jostle it, change it, undermine it, that at least you would talk to some of the veterans organizations in this town, VFW, American Legion, and the veterans that serve this country, I think, should have some sort of say as to what the town is going to do with a memorial on their property, on our property.
Right, yeah.
That's
Okay.
all.
But
Thank you.
we weren't gonna do anything with it. We weren't gonna touch
No, but
it.
the rumors are out there, so
Well,
obviously, I've been here a long time, and
Yeah,
sometimes you hear
I mean-
rumors, and everybody says they're rumors, but as time goes by, all of a sudden, you see somebody digging and things are moved,
yeah. Or not,
or not.
or not. Or sometimes years and years and years go by and nothing happens, but those rumors still keep popping up.
I just wanted to throw that out there. because
Elvis
there's
is
fire
alive.
department members here that are like discussing it, and I thought that veterans should have also some sort of say in it. They've been the stewards of it for all these years, and I just
Next
thought
time
that
we decide
if
to
there were any
move
rumors
it.
out there that you would put it through like the organizations of the American Legion and the VFW and get their input into it as well.
If we were gonna move it.
Yes.
Right.
I think if any
Or even
significant
discuss.
changes
If
are
what? I'm
going to be
sorry?
considered, we would want to talk to the fire department and the veterans, like you said, absolutely,
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
No, thank you guys.
yeah. You guys did a lot of work over the years, to be sure. Appreciate it.
I do have a question, another rumor that's going around. Did the town acquire the H.H. Todd and Sons tanks?
The old Botini parcel? Yes.
We're still
You're working it?
we're in a process of they're having it appraised so that when they give it to us, they want to know, you know, make sure that they get the proper write-off. So we're waiting for that appraisal to be done, but it right now it's a handshake approval, but nothing's set in stone as of yet.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it did pass both environmental studies.
Yeah,
So
it did.
we went through the proper channels of having the soil tested and,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
making
it's
sure
a
it was
clean,
safe space.
it's a clean property.
There's never been one.
Yeah.
No,
Wonderful.
no, we had that all checked out,
Yeah.
up and down.
Now, would that be a good area to increase parking in?
Oh, we
Pine
plan
Hill?
on making
That's
it
the
a
purpose, that's
parking
the lot
lot.
I was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Would be good.
Yep.
Verified. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will say that as we were planning things at Smith Park and Glenbrook Park, it does help to have surveys of these properties that the town owns. I don't know if this parcel that we're talking about in Pine
Yes.
Hill
We
is
do.
surveyed?
Yeah.
Okay, so if our plans are going through that, that's great.
Any other comments before we go into executive session? No? Okay, then we're gonna I'll make a motion to close the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And make a motion, we're going into executive session. I guess we'll go down to the office.
Sure.
Thank you, just stay.
We've, oh, sorry. I should be. It was the flick of a switch.
Look at this switch. He's gonna do the other thing. No, you- They want to make sure no sound went through. Took everything off.
Appreciate that.
I know.
Getting it back together.
You still can see those little holes? Jeez.
No, I need my glasses. Tom's eyeballs.
She uses Braille. Uh-oh. You want my glasses?
We're on.
All right, we're out of executive session. We discussed some personnel issues and we discussed some water issues. Making a motion to open our regular session again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're just going to, do you guys have anything to say before we adjourn? Okay, we're going to adjourn in the memory of Rose Rogers, Pamela Veach, Herb Citron, and Dennis Havel. Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
And everybody have a good June. All in favor? Aye.